Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Victoria Babilonia, Remax State Properties, and we're here to chat with my beautiful friend, Barbara Haynes, who I've known for about 10 years now. Our sons were 4 years old, and today they're 14, soon to start high school in August of 2020 with a lot of zest and excitement, but with a lot of fear involved as well, because we don't know what a high school year is going to look like for the freshmen to start in 2020, August of this year. So I have a confession to make for Barbara in this past 10 years, and this is the first time I'm sharing this with you, Barbara, and I hope it's okay, that since I met you, I've been following you. I'm in
Yeah.
love with you, number one, because you're gorgeous. But more importantly, you're just a beautiful human being. And I've watched you have the zest for life and your conviction in having good health and how one operates in life, right? Everything begins with the body and the mind. And that's where Barbara comes into place in hopes that for you folks that are hearing us out today, you can find a little bit of something that you can use through this pandemic that we're all experiencing for the first time ever. And so I know I'm going to get a huge wins from Barbara's talk, and I'm hoping that you guys too. So she's a wellness coach, and I'm going to say, Barbara, welcome to this conversation.
Well, thank you for having me, Victoria. I'm really excited to talk about this stuff. Very cool opportunity. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you. Tell us a little bit about you and about your coaching practice, please.
Sure. So I am a wellness coach. I've been coaching for actually a very long time. I used to work in a corporate job. I was like 15 years in corporate marketing, but basically taught the entire time. I taught part-time at gyms, like your standard aerobics classes. But I was also a ski instructor for some time. And then of course, just very much into health and fitness, yoga, running, marathons, etc. When I moved to LA a little over 10 years ago, I sort of semi-retired out of my corporate job and started following my passion of wellness. So became a certified personal trainer, and then over the years became a yoga instructor, and then just sort of called it sort of wellness coaching. So I teach everything for the mind and body. So 360 degrees of wellness is the way I like to think about it, where I can show you how to do an exercise, but I can also share information and help you uh, with a better nutrition plan. And then finally, with yoga and meditation, I can share with you what we call moving.
Of
So
course. Yeah, so my business coach has been telling me or telling the group take our meds heavily right now. Meds meaning meditation, exercise, diet, and then sleep. And it kind of goes hand in hand with what you're talking about.
yes,
I looked at a post that you had on your Facebook page yesterday, and it
yep,
had this picture. Can you see it?
yes, I remember that picture.
Love it. And you talked in that Facebook post about how much anxiety all of us are experiencing, right?
Yeah.
In terms of feeling happy and then feeling despair, feeling joy and then feeling very sad, right?
Mhm.
So the focus of this conversation is about the yoga practice.
Yep.
In terms of you helping us understand how that works and why is that of a huge help to us, especially today.
It's a great question. So yoga, in and of itself, is a practice that really takes the mind and body together. And one of the biggest thing, that's probably one of the most important thing about yoga, is the use of breath. So there's no other
I didn't hear what you just said. The use of what?
use of your breath.
But oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah.
So
Sometimes I find myself not breathing. Yeah,
yeah,
that's totally true to me. Thank you for pointing that out.
yeah, and yoga in and of itself can be either a very aggressive practice with a power yoga class, or it could be a very restorative class as a yin class. But the one component that is in every yoga class is the use of breath. And there's really no other exercise, maybe Pilates, but no other exercise that I know of where we're actively starting with the breath. with yoga, you start by finding your breath and finding the present moment with your breath, and you end in a pose called Shavasana, which also just takes you back to your breath. And then I always like to say that when you find your breath, it becomes this internal rhythm, this internal metronome for your movements. So every inhalation is an extension of your body, and every exhalation is a contraction of your body. So that's why I love yoga so much, because it does become this practice of moving meditation for me. You could do meditation, you could do movement separately, but the unique quality of yoga is that it combines the two. And I come from, many, many years of dance. And so for me, movement was very much therapy for me, and it was also just a passion of mine. And so from dance back to yoga, I've sort of come back to this thing that is a huge passion for me, and it's always given me a wonderful sense of calm and control. So every breath that I take helps control the movements that I make. And it's just a really beautiful practice for folks to get into. And it's for all levels and all ages. If you could just sit in a chair and do a couple of breathing movements and some arm movements, also could be considered, a yoga practice.
Okay. I know you have been helping the community as a whole for the past, I would say, 2 months or so, where you have gone to teach yoga online, right? Talk to us about that. How is that experience going for the folks that you're helping out, and for you as the master in the yoga practice?
So first of all, I'm not a master. I'm constantly a student of yoga.
You're a master
And
to me. You tell me
thank
what to do, I'll do it.
thank you. But I feel like I'm a lifelong learner of all things, and especially yoga. Um, I do know a lot. I've been practicing for about maybe 17 years now, in addition to teaching for the last 5. But the stay-at-home order came in, and a lot of my students were very sort of worried. Nobody wanted to leave their house. I didn't know if I wanted to leave my house. Yet we all knew that we needed to continue our practice. So folks that I teach at Afterburn, I teach there twice a week. Soho, I was subbing, and another place I was teaching once a month. Everybody was wanting something, so one of my students suggested that I start doing something online, either record some videos and post them, or find some live venues. So literally within maybe a week of the stay-at-home order occurring in LA, I just found Instagram Live, and I went on, gave it a shot, and a lot of people were very receptive. And so I feel like it's kind of a service that I'm extending out to everybody. It's all donation based, so it's really a community service that I'm doing. I'm not setting up some special PayPal or Venmo thing. It's just whatever people can contribute, because I know for the folks who can contribute, I'm thankful that they can. And for the folks who can't, I don't want to take away something that could really help their wellness right now. And the last thing we need in this world, when there was so much, when we're worried about this big disease, is for our stress level to go up and those cortisol levels to go up, which can directly contribute to feeling sick or getting sick. So yoga, movement, meditation, all those things are going to bring the cortisol level down in a real way. And the regularity of this practice definitely helps the overall, the body, and a little bit of the immunity, and getting some of the toxins out of your body.
Okay, so how do we find you? How do we find you out there?
So
I have regular scheduled classes already for the week. I know that. Can you share that with us?
Sure. So typically I teach Tuesday through Saturday, every morning, 9 a.m. classes a week. So on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And then I teach more of an exercise class, which I call core, on Wednesdays and Fridays. So you could pick all of them, you could pick some of them, you could try it out. You could even sit on your couch with a coffee and watch it, just to see whether or not it's something that you're
that. I can do that.
Tuesday through Saturday, and that recording stays on Instagram for 24 hours. And to find me, just follow me at Barb. Once I see you, I'll accept your following, and then you can come on when you want. It's very easy. Again, I just did it because I felt like I needed to be out there to offer some of this practice which I love, to anyone who is interested.
Now, what about different levels of yoga? Here you are. Thank
I'm
you.
back.
So, what about different levels of yoga? Like, for instance, I am not very flexible at this moment in time. So, how would I start my practice? Because I believe that you have to bend down and all that good stuff. That's good for your joints and your muscles. But what about people like me that are fearful to start something that I may not be able to do?
So I teach an all levels class,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
with every class, I introduce modifications for what you can do. Um, it's a little bit tougher with the screen because obviously I don't see you in my room. Typically, in a live class, I can stop and make some adjustments and just go one on one in the classes. But in this case, I try to keep the classes gentle. I also sort of talk to people at the beginning of class of what's going to be in the class. For example, today is really more about elongating side body work. And for some of the things where if you haven't done them before or you don't feel comfortable doing it, then you could just skip. In every yoga class, you could just skip. You could sit in a cross-legged position or sit in a pose called child's pose and just take a break. You could still hear my voice in the background. And then when you're ready, you come back into a pose that you feel that is accessible to you. Again, yoga is really in all levels and in all ages course. I hope that when I'm in my 80s, that I still do this practice. Maybe I do it with ability, but I do feel like that I should be able to do the breathing and the basic.
Got it. Okay, so so we're good then with beginners like me.
Yes,
In
absolutely.
our yoga practice. What about our children? Can they join us?
Absolutely. So I was doing a kids class for a little bit, but I just sort of kept it more generic. And really, uh, the beginning of the class is probably the best time for the kids to join because really at that time we're just focusing on the breath. And as you probably know, I would go in and do meditation classes for our kids in
Mhm.
school. And with that, the amount of calm that you can get just from sitting for maybe 1 to 2 minutes, breathing, just a huge thing for keeping our kids' minds calm and then opening them up to creativity and productivity for the day. So even if you just had your children join you for the first 10 to 15 minutes of class, just that little bit would actually help them to move a little bit and get a little bit of calm before they start their day. So I highly encourage parents to have their kids practice with them. I actually do have a few friends who are practicing with their kids, smaller kids, adult kids, when I do my yoga online.
Oh, fantastic. So I we had a little bit of a technicality issue with the computer, so I didn't hear part of what you said. So again, how do we find you? So you said Instagram before, right?
Yeah, so I'm doing the classes on Instagram Live. You could find me at Barb Matthias Haynes with a Y.
Barb. Okay.
And I teach every morning at 9 a.m. Actually, so Tuesday through Saturday at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday are the yoga classes, and Wednesday and Friday are more of like a athletic core class.
Okay, fantastic. And we began this conversation with you being a wellness coach.
Mhm.
So there are other aspects to your coaching as well that go together with the yoga practice. Let's see if we can have another chat about that because
So
I know right now the body and the mind, it goes all together, right? And
absolutely.
so it's super, super important, at least for me, to have everything aligned and being present in the moment of time, to be more loving, more caring, more compassionate to not others, but to myself as well. So,
Agreed.
any other ideas you can give to the people who are viewing us right now, and what else to do to keep in that present time and being really in tune with what we're feeling at this moment in time? Oops, I think he got frozen again. Did he get frozen?
So one really good is just a simple phrase, remember blue sky. And what that says is that anytime you're outside, or if you're actually looking out the window, just always know that there is blue sky above you, and it's a really wonderful way and recognize the beauty outside. And so this idea, remember blue sky, even though those clouds in front of those skies, sometimes there's always blue sky beyond that. And I think that's just a wonderful metaphor for life, that there's always blue sky behind anything that might seem uncertain or unpleasant or very difficult. And that gave me a really neat way to just find the present again. Like you're walking along, you're stressed out, you stop, you look up at the sky, you're like, yeah, blue sky. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful way to just get to the present.
And it gives you a bigger span of the universe as well, right? It's not just like looking inwards.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
tend to pick our phones so much that we forget that we live on this beautiful planet and
Yes.
the beautiful blue sky above us is always there to protect us.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Well, thank you so much, Barbara, for taking the time to talk with me and to share all this wonderful information. And again, repeat that where we can find you again one more time before we leave off.
So you could find me on Instagram
Mhm.
at Barb Matthias Haynes.
Okay, I heard you clearly right now. Thank you
Good.
so much for that. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to this wonderful conversation. We wish you much peace, health, and serenity during these tough times. We will get through this, and we have to do it together with Barbara, with whomever your supporting team is. Just stay together and just keep on moving forward one day at a time. We love you guys. Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you.